Hey everyone, this is Callie. Welcome to today's Lawn Fawn feature. I'm using so many different products from the latest Lawn Fawn summer release for 2024, and I've combined them for today's super fun gumball machine card. So front and center, we have the Build-A-Gumball machine, and there are so many fun parts and details to this gumball machine that really brings it to life. So we will work on piecing that together later. Right now, I want to go ahead and stamp some of the images that are going to make a little cute scene on and around the gumball machine. The first little mouse I used is from an image from the Whoosh kite set. That one is brand new. And then the other two little mice are from the Merry Mice set, which is an older set that was released previously for a winter release. Then using the How You Been money add-on set, I wanted to stamp and use the little dollar coins that are from this stamp set. There are coin dies from the gumball machine die set, but I didn't like how that turned out and I felt like it needed a little bit more color, so I'm using this stamp set. Plus, I get to show you what that looks like and how it can add to a card when you're adding lots of different images from different products to create a card. One of the things that I really love about Lawn Fawn sets are that not only are the images sized proportionately to work together, but that you can really mix and match a lot of different images to create whatever your creative heart desires. And you'll see that this little dollar coin is going to fit into our gumball machine perfectly. So I am just going to quickly color these images. It's super quick. The gold uses 3 different colors of yellow, and then I'm going to use 4 different colors for the mice body here, and then I'll add some blush tones as well as little dots for the cheeks. Okay, so I'll die cut those off camera and set them aside. And also off camera, I've die cut all of the pieces that I need for the construction of my Build-A-Gumball machine. To make a shaker out of it, I have 7 die cut layers from the gumball machine frame itself. And then for the base, I die cut it from a light teal. And all the other accent pieces, I meticulously planned what colors they were going to be. So there are some pieces in silver accents, and then a dark gray piece for the opening of the gumball exit. And then for the trimmings, I have die cut the pieces in a darker teal, even though you can't really tell. I also have a rainbow of die cut gumballs, and you'll see they're the little gold coins that I cut, and there are also heart-shaped gumballs as well. And those two I am not going to be using for today's card. And then I've die cut a piece of acetate here for the gumball shaker window. Now I've used some lightweight clear acetate. This is from Simon Says Stamp, and I love this acetate for shaker windows because it's nice and thin, but it's also heat resistant. And as you can see, I was unable to cut it through all the way with my die cutting machine, and I don't want to add a shim because I don't want to apply too much pressure, so I'm just going to use my new Tim Holtz recoil mini snips here, and it really cuts like butter. I can't harp enough on how much I love these new scissors. Okay, so now that I'm done, I need to cut another piece for the back. So I'm choosing that colorful polka dot background there from the pint-sized pattern Summertime Petite Paper Pack, and it is new from Lawn Fawn as well. So I've die cut that backing and I'll set that aside, and next I'll start stacking up all of my gumball machine layers. I'll add that background to the back of that back layer of that gumball machine and then start stacking all the different layers. And when I get to my very last layer, I'll add my acetate so that I can create that shaker window. So there I'll set those aside and we'll start ink blending because there's lots of ink blending to be done for all the colorful gumballs. Okay, so I'm using a rainbow of Lawn Fawn inks. If you're interested in all of the details for the cardstocks that I used and for the inks that I used, be sure to check out the blog. Everything will be linked for your convenience, as well as in the descriptions below. So I just think that adding a little bit of ink to all of those gumballs really adds lots of interest. And then we'll start ink blending the gumball itself. So for the lighter teal panel for the base, I'm adding a light teal color. And then I'm also going to use a darker teal to ink blend the other dark teal trimmings for the gumball machine. One last thing, we want to add a bit of dark gray shading to this gray piece for the opening of the gumball machine. Real quick here, I just want to point out that I'm using the new microfiber cloth from Simon Says Stamp. If you don't already have one, you need to get one because it's great for cleaning up my glass work surface or any work surface, stamps, dies, whatever you want. And here I'm using another brand new to me tool. It's called the It's No Secret Embossing Powder Tool. The wand is very similar to what you would see for a lip gloss, but it's great for getting those inner corners on shaker cards so that you don't get any static cling, especially if you were to use a dry adhesive. That's really going to neutralize any adhesive so that things don't get stuck on the sides of your shaker. I know I'm sharing a lot of new tools and sets with you for this video, but I hope you're excited about them and get to shopping if you haven't seen them before. So now we're going to be using another new set. It's called the All the Smiles set from Lawn Fawn. As you can see, it's just a bunch of happy faces. I mean, there are a few that aren't so happy, but they're super cute and they come in multiple sizes so that you can use them on any of your projects. I thought it would be really fun to use a bunch of little different facial expressions on the gumballs. And then before I add them to my shaker card, I'm just going to use my white Posca paint pen to add some little highlights to the gumballs before filling my shaker window with them. And then in the shaker window, I wanted to add some shimmer and shine as well. So I'm going to add a little spoonful here of some Distress Glitter in Rock Candy. And that's just some clear glitter that's going to add some sparkles to the center of my shaker card. Now, as you can see, I left two little gumballs to the side because I knew I wanted one coming out of the exit of the gumball machine. And then I also wanted another one for one of the mice because it looks like he's tossing it up in the air and it's super cute. Okay, so now I'm just going to adhere all of the trimmings and pieces together to build my gumball. It's super intuitive while you're putting it together because everything is scored into the paper so you know where everything goes. So there's my little shaker gumball and it's super fun. And now we're going to create a background. So I'm going to introduce the bunting background stencils, another product from the Lawn Fawn summer release. So for the background, I'm using some Hammermill cardstock here. I'm going to use my stamp and stencil mat, and that's going to help me hold everything down while I stencil a rainbow of bunting banners going across the panel. And I'm using the same ink colors that I used on all of the gumballs earlier. So I started with the pink, and then I just left 5 spaces after that to repeat the pattern. And then I'll work one color at a time, and then once I get through all of it, I can peel that off and work on the second stencil, which is just the line or the string for the bunting banner. So I'll use the gray that I used on the gumball machine as well to do that layer. For some decorative stitching around the edges of this bunting background, I'm going to use a stitched rectangle die to go ahead and die cut that. And that will trim this panel just a little bit to mat an A2 card base. Then I'll take my gumball machine and attach it to the center of the card. Now that the background is set up, I can go ahead and create a little scene here with the mice and the little coins that I colored. I'm going to tuck one right there into the little coin slot, and I'm going to use this little mouse here to position right next to that little turning dial like he's trying to dispense a gumball for himself. And initially I thought the second mouse would be holding another coin as if he were going to be next in line to get a gumball. And then we have this third mouse over here who looks like he's tossing a gumball in the air, and it's super fun. After I added this gumball coming out of the exit, I thought, okay, maybe that coin does look a little bit odd. I want this second mouse to look like he's getting the actual gumball from the machine. So I just tore off the coin there and moved him over just a little bit. Now I wanted to show you, this is an older set. It's called Sweet Smiles, and it's a stamp of a adorable gumball machine that is a little bit smaller in size than the die, but it's great to have options, right? So if you don't like paper piecing, you can always get the stamp set, which is a great price point as well. I just thought using that stamp set and showing you on camera, you can see what that looks like in comparison to the die. And the sentiment from this stamp set is perfect for the gumball machine card that I've created. As you can see, I've embossed the You're So Sweet sentiment onto black cardstock using some white embossing powder. And then I'm going to use the new stitched sentiment banners to die cut that sentiment from. Now, because that die is solid, I wanted to make sure I had perfect placement. So I went ahead and die cut it using some printer paper that I pulled out of my recycling bin, and I made myself a little negative template, and I positioned that over my embossed sentiment, and the die will kind of notch itself in place where that white paper is. And I know I'm being super risky, so if you're not wanting to take a chance, be sure to use some adhesive to hold that die in place so it doesn't move. And then I'll adhere this directly to my card, and the stitching on this banner also runs with the stitching all around the rectangle of the card, so it's perfect. So that finishes my shaker gumball machine. I hope you enjoyed this project. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you're interested in any of the products that I use, be sure to check out the links below. Everything will be linked in the descriptions. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Bye.